Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Welcome to all the guests. We have everybody checking out. We saw him yesterday. What's your name, Tzaddik?
Yosef.
From where?
London.
London. From what's the name of the place over there in London? Yeah, Stamford Hill. Shkoyach, you're part of that chabura? You're part of a group over there? No, you do your own thing. The Olam knows about you? Or you're hidden?
What it is?
There's a huge chabura. What are you talking about? There's 150 people there, no? All right, what's, you're not new, no? What's your name, the Chazan?
Yaakov Goldman.
From?
Far Rockaway.
Shalom Aleichem. Landsman, he's a Landsman. And you? From?
Oakhurst, New Jersey.
Hillcrest, New Jersey.
Oakhurst.
Oakhurst.
Like Neil area.
Very nice. I like the name. It's a geschmacka name. All right, welcome.
Making a bar mitzvah for his son.
Oh, Shalom Aleichem, Mazel Tov. When? Today?
No, after service.
After Sukkot.
Yeah, the whole month.
All right, cool. So we'll see you once in a while? Mazel Tov. Or HaTorah, HaTfilot VaLimudim BaYeshiva LeYom Neroim Mukdashim L'Schus Akiva Simcha Feiga V'Lio Ben Rus. Love it.
Rabeli, what is chus? What is chus? Thank you very much. It's the greatest chus to be used, that song to be used in such a holy initiative. Keep up your avoida. You're amazing. Keep up elevating Am Yisrael, learning the Mesikas HaTorah that you have. Mitzvah Hashem, you should have a Shana Tova, a Shana year filled with Torah, filled with Dvash. That's what it is. You're giving Dvash, you're giving sweetness to people. You're amazing, Eli. For me to have a small little part and what's going on there, it's amazing. It's geschmack to do the daf. Yes, it is. Sending love, Shana Tova U'Mutzlachas. Love you very much, and Hatzlacha, and thank you very much for sharing that with me. It's a tremendous chus.
Shkoyach. These are the two guys that stay by my house. They're in action already. And this, Rabbi said, Nechemi Seltzer, in Uman. I thought I saw him in one of the videos. Look at this. It's a nice crowd. They had their own. Nice question. Somebody had to donate the screen, and they're going to use the screen next year. They're storing it. Givaldik. The other remembers Reb Chaim Milstein. He's a Rebbe in Cheder. You remember him? He's another Rebbe that sent us. He was also at the Shabbaton, and he did this whole Good Morning Rabbi Boyce once, or like a play. Remember? I think his kids did like a whole. Yeah. Aguta Motzi Rosh Hashanah. I'm a Rebbe, and I was thinking how to best explain to my class the history behind Tzon Gedalia, and then it occurred to me that this year is very easy to bring it to life for many people because of Charlie Kirk's death. What happened? Gedalia ben Achikam, he was put in charge of Klal Yisrael right after the Churban, and then he was assassinated, and that was it for Klal Yisrael. Like the Klal Yisrael ran away, they went to Egypt, this, that. So he's saying it's a mashal, it's not mamish, but there's an assassination that hurt Klal Yisrael. The Senate and Congress both passed a vote to make the date of his death a national day of remembrance. House Senate passed the national day of remembrance. So we have Tzom Gedalia, day of remembrance. I won't be able to share this thought with my third graders, but I thought it was something you'd enjoy. Thank you, and yes, I did have you in mind in my tefillas. A lot of people said this. Let's see if it works this year. From the amount of people that told me, it's not like the wine and the water, everybody's going to pour the water in. And mamish, there's wine going in, wine this year. I really appreciate it. Shana Tova U'Mevarecha Dir Rebelli, may you and all of those that are dear to you be blessed with a year of health, spiritual and material blessings. May you all see tremendous siyata shema in all that you do and enjoy a year of growth in all areas. May you and your wife see much nachas from the whole family. Thank you for all that you, your wife, your whole family do for the klal. You are very loved and appreciated by the olam. Warm regards, Ilan Golam, Montreal. Yes, next time you're in the New York area, if you're willing and able to come to Montreal, I'll take upon myself to organize a venue for this year, to work hard to market it and draw a crowd. It could be a big push to grow this year in Montreal. Shkoyach. The Masechta is sponsored by David Salomon, dedicated in memory of Moirib Shmuel Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doiv Zechron Levracha. By anonymous Lili Nishmas Doidi Shlomo Yehuda Zechron Levracha Ben Shmuel Chayim Asher Shokav Elomad Kodshim Kol Chayov. Anonymous is Chus Refuah Shleima Nachum Tzvi Ben Yenta, sponsored by Skybrook Capital in honor of our friends Mary Kovacs, Taki, Shamshi Shlafrak, for devotion to Torah study in the Shir. Joel Gedalius, Lili Nishmas, my father Jack Gedalius, anonymous, Atzlacha Baruch Nitzvi Gashmius. Co-sponsors monthly, anonymous from London, Atzlacha in Business. Monthly sponsor, TCS Israel, Power by Talk and Save, Aaron Kessler, in honor of the marriage of my son and my daughter, and my relocated to Eden Gardens in Orlando, Florida. Anonymous from London, Atzlacha B'Parnasa. Monthly sponsors, Yehuda Loshinsky, in honor of my father's 6th cycle of the Daf. Your big heart and giving to the community is an inspiration for all of us. Anonymous, Brochad V'Lidai, Yehuda Yaman Ben Chava, and Baruch Tzvi Nissim Ben Shoshana Leah. Coffee for the month, I guess. Rivka and Dr. Avram Epstein, Yishkoyach, pray for a complete and speedy recovery for Dr. Harold Goldmeyer, Rafi Goldmeyer's father, who just lost his wife. When? Like less than a month? No, he's Pashlashim. Weekly sponsor, Sheldon and Donna Reich, Lila Nishmas, Nachum Ben Pinchas Halevin, Noach Ben Yehuda, may the Neshamot have aliyot, and may Shlomo Reuben Ben Hinda have a speedy refuah shleima, amen. Anonymous, for a year full of Atzlach and Ruchnis and Gashmis. Anonymous, thanking Reb Stefansky and the MDY team for making Daf Yomi accessible and enjoyable to many. Nancy and Arnon Steinhardt, Lila Nishmas Leiba and Avram Moshe, Jerry Lloyd, and Gemar Tov for all Klal Yisrael. Gershi Schwartz, Rebelli, you changed my life, truly, and it's my birthday today. Mazel Tov Gershi. Anonymous, Lili Shmat Tzvi Hirsch, Ben Yosef, and Yehudis Bas Yosef. Anonymous, in honor of the Rav, for keeping the boys spicy and making sure that woo-woos are flying. Some inside jokes here. And the art. Before Shlema, for Yonatan Eitan Ben B'Shem Bracha. Before Shlema, Mordechai Ben Esther. Before Sayela, Daniel Zeb Ben Yela Esther. I hope it didn't make me say like something like really spicy in another language. Yeah. Okay. Rabbi, so here we are. We're starting from Tnan Hassam. 4 lines from the bottom of the Daf Yud Amud Beis. Tnan Hassam. Shahoya Rebbe Kiva Oimer. We have the pasuk over here. I have to say that I was just here a few hours ago. I gave 3 shiurim in a row last night, and there's a nice crowd. We're going into like 1 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. There's a little meshuggah, and there's no coffee, but it's kishmak. We're here. So we'll do 4 shiurim in, I don't know, 7 hours. What 12 hours? No, the first year started at 9:30. Well, it was really 9:45. Yeah, 10 hours. It sounds better though. 10 hours. But, okay, so it says in the pasuk. You got the woo. The woo. You hear this halacha? If you bring, so this kid, a 13-year-old kid from Beitar, he even has his name here printed with 3D, Shlomi Rubenstein. So he had somebody 3D print this, and he gave it to me. He forgot to tell me that these are spikes that the pigeons don't. They also spike your finger when you touch them. So I'm opening it up and I spike my fingers. But he gave me a bandage. So if you take the blood and you put it into this heichal, which is 200 feet tall, the carbon becomes possible. So you take a chatos, it's a good chatos, but somebody puts the blood inside the heichal, it automatically turns off the chatos. It's gone. It's a goner. Now the question is it just a chatos, or it's other korbanos as well? Perhaps it's a chatos in the asham. Perhaps it's all korbanos, or perhaps it's only the chatos. Now what does the pasuk say? The whole chatos asher yuva midama, only the chatos. Every single carbon. How do I know it? From the first word of the pasuk. It says v'chol. Okay, all karbanos. No. We're not darshing any drushes. No v'chol. The pasuk says chatas. It's a chatas. Now we have a third shita. Asham is similar to a chatas. Rebbe Eliezer himself in our Mishnah, the first Mishnah, When the Mishnah says that if you have the wrong lishma by a chatos or a carbon pesach, you have to destroy the animal. It's a goner. Says Rabbi Eliezer, af ha'asham. Asham is similar to chatos in all things. In this also, that if you to put the blood into the heichal, it ruins the asham. Shene'emar kachatos ka'asham. It's a limud that we had yesterday. The Torah is makish. It says it's similar. The chatos and the asham are similar. They're put together in the same pasuk, so they have the same halachas. He just explained his reasoning. We have a hekesh kachatos ka'asham. El Rabbanu my taima. What are they going to do with this kachatos ka'asham? Why do they argue and say no? Only a chatos. Says Rava, it's impossible. Why? To say that a asham, if you bring the blood inside the heichal, it passes the actual asham. So what's interesting is, the more we learn, we're 10 daf into Zevachim, the more we can anticipate and understand what's flying. It's the same thing over and over. Yesterday we had 2 of these, today we have some of them. It's the same thing. Just you put different assets, different words in there, but it's the same thing. It's the same procedure. What do I mean by that here? The Gemara is going to try to learn Asham from an Ayla. Ayla, we're going to say that if an Asham, you bring the blood into the Heichal, kosher. Ayla is more powerful than an Asham. The whole thing goes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Nobody eats from it. So Asham also, if you bring the blood into the Heichal, it should be okay. What does the Gemara say? No. No, Ayla is special. Einam Chaperes. It's actually not more chomer. It's more kal than Asham. It doesn't give a kapara. So we're going to go to something else. We're going to go to the Minchas Chayta. Minchas Chayta, you guys remember from yesterday? Of course. It was the same thing, but for a different Kal V'chomer. Minchas Chayta, it's a mincha. It's a flour carbon that you give to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if you bring some of it inside the heichal, it doesn't do anything to the mincha. So too the Asham. But the Gemara says, yeah, but it doesn't have any blood. It's not a carbon. You don't shecht it. So then what do you do in this case? Rabbi says, you remember what you do when you have these 2 things? So then you go to the Ayla, but the Ayla is not mechaber. Then you go back to the Chadis, you go in a circle. So what do? You do a common denominator. You do a tzad shava. You take the 2 of them together and you say, well, the 2 of them together have one thing in common. They're kachim, and if you bring the blood inside the heichal, it's kosher. And therefore, Asham also. And then what happens after that? Then we make a pirch on those 2 things. You say, no, those 2 are different than Asham. Why? There's no set price. You can pay as much as you want, but Asham, you must pay at least 2 shekel. And you go around in a circle, and then what happens, Ariel Simon? Then you bring a pasta.
No down by him.
Exactly. What are you saying?
That's Einam in Zevach.
There's no dam by Mishra.
What's the tzad shava?
You don't understand? So we'll see inside. Here. Ma'oila, top of your Aleph Amud Aleph. Ma'oila she kolel nichnas dama lefnim sheira. Oil is so powerful that all of it goes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if you bring the blood inside the heichal, it remains kosher, not like a chatos. Asham, she'ena kolel. Asham is less than that. Some of it is eaten by the kohanim. Loy kolchke, and certainly if you bring the blood into the heichal, it should remain kosher. Ma'oila she'ena enam chaperes. No, but Ariel has something that's the opposite of a chumrah. It's a kula. It doesn't forgive. You can't get a forgiveness from Ariel. Minchas chayta. If somebody brings a mincha, what's a minchas chayta? So if somebody did a sin, certain averis, and he can't afford a carbon, he brings a bird. And if he can't afford the birds, he brings a mincha. So that mincha, if you were to bring some of it inside the heichal, it doesn't ruin it. So too, Asham shouldn't ruin it. Says Gemara. First, the Gemara digresses for a second. Why did the Gemara bring a raya from the mincha? There's something much better that's more appropriate for our sugya, which is the bird that's a chatos. One bird is oil, one is a chatos. The chatos bird. The chatas bird, that if somebody has a little bit more money than a real pauper, he'll bring the bird. And why is that better? Because it has blood. It's a lot more similar. than jumping all the way to flour that doesn't have blood. Says the Gemara, I couldn't use a bird. We're not sure that if you bring the blood of a chatas bird into the heichal, it doesn't ruin the bird. That we weren't sure about. But we're certain that if you bring part of the mincha into the heichal, it doesn't ruin the mincha. And now the Gemara is saying within the words that gufa is the pircha. You can't bring a raya from asham, from the mincha of flour, because mincha of flour doesn't have any blood. It's not a karba. But an oila is a carbon, and if you bring the blood into the heichal, it doesn't ruin it. But an oila is ein mechaper. So you go to minchas chayta, which is mechaper, but it's not a zevach. But an oila is also not a zevach. You go around in a circle. The chazar adin, each one has a positive, each one has a negative, just like in real life. But the common denominator is that they're kachi kachim, they're karbanas, and if you bring the blood or the mincha into the heichal, it remains kosher. I can learn from them the asham shu kodesh kadashim minchas dam lefnim kosher. The bottom line is I want to learn this kosher. You need to pay minimum 2 shekel for the karban asham, and the oila and the mincha don't have that. So if there's a certain kitzvah, there's a certain minimum, that means it's more chomer. If it's more chomer, I can't learn from the other two. Yesterday, I believe, it was a little confusing because I gave a shir in Daf Aleph, then I went back and gave a shir in Daf Yud, and people that were at Daf Aleph, they heard the shir in Daf Yud, and they're like, but wait a minute, is this and that? And they like start asking me questions from Daf Aleph. No, that's tomorrow's Daf. Oh, yeah, okay. So I think it was yesterday's Daf and Daf Yud where we had the same thing, same ma'atzan, and at the end it said Oisa. Unless it's for today, we'll get to it. I don't remember. What? It was yesterday. Okay, good. I'm saying it becomes very predictable. It's the same, it just keeps on going. Bring a raya from this, no, this has a pirch. Bring a raya from this has it. Oh, both of them together, and then there's a final pirch on the bottom, and then that doesn't work, and then we bring a pasuk. Literally, I have here 3 of these, exact same thing for 3 different halachas. It says in this pasuk that I just showed you, from its blood, but its blood, only a chatas' blood, and not a asham's blood. It's a miyot. And Rabbi Eliezer, who says that asham does, if you bring the blood of an asham into the heichal, it ruins it. What is he going to do with the word dama? It seems like there's a miyot, only the chatas. That if you brought a piece of meat into the heichal, that doesn't ruin the asham or the chatas, only blood. V'idach, dam dama. I agree with it. Everybody agrees to that halacha. So how does he know that halacha? Because it says dama instead of dam. So now I'm learning 2 halachas from it. First of all, dama means only the chatas, and also the reason why we said dama instead of dam is another way to learn. V'idach dam dama le darish, and Rebbe Eliezer doesn't learn 2 drushes from 1 word. In this case. Very similar what's going on here. There's 2 halachas when it comes to mincha. There's a mincha that's kosher, mincha that's pasul. We're going to see the halachas in a second. If you say chatas shaloi l'shma is no good, and asham shaloi l'shma is good, so now I have a case. Pasul, kosher. And therefore I could say that a mincha is like a chatas and like a asham. One is kosher, one is pasul. But if I say that both a chatas and asham are the same, and they are both pasul, so how could I say that a mincha is like a chatas and asham? They don't come out that both menachas are both pasul. But that's not what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to say that one mincha is kosher and one mincha is pasul. So that works beautifully like Rabbanan, because they say a chatas is pasul and a asham is kosher. And a mincha is like a chatas and like a asham. One is kosher, one is pasul. But according to Rebbe Eliezer, that both a chatas and asham are pasul, so what am I saying? A mincha is like a chatas and asham, and therefore what? They're both puzzle? No, I'm trying to come to a situation where one is kosher and one is puzzle. Let's see inside. You'll understand more. I have a asham that's kosher, and I have a chatas that's puzzle when you do shalei l'shma. That's why the pasuk says. In a second, we'll see the pasuk. Kodesh kadashim hi kachadas kasham. This side, Reb Shimon Omer Kodesh kadashim hi kachadas kasham. That we compare a mincha. What's a mincha? It's a carbon made out of flour. We compare it to the chatas and the asham. That what? Minchas choyte harei kechatas. When you bring it for a sin, it makes a lot of sense. It's similar to a chatas. A chatas is also brought for a sin. So if you're choyte, you do an aveira, and you bring a chatas, and you have the wrong lishma, what happens to the chatas? You thought that it's a shlamim, you got to destroy it. Lefichach, come to kematza shalei lishma. If you do kmitza, you go like this, and you think to yourself, I'm doing this not for a minchas choyta, but I'm doing this for a minchas nedava. You ruined it. And minchas nedava harei kasham. And a minchas nedava, when a person out of the goodness of his heart wants to bring a gift to Hashem made out of flour, he can't afford an animal, so she's a poor person. He goes and he asks his wife to make him like to give some flour, and he brings it to Hashem. That's like an asham. If you did the kmitza without the lishma, it's kosher. Now I just want to show you this Rashi. Yeah, we'll show it later. It's not for this sugya. That's great according to Rabbanan that one is kosher, one is pasul. But according to Rabbi Eliezer, where both the chatas and the asham are both pasul if you have the wrong intent. So then, what does it mean? How's the Torah comparing a mincha to chatas and asham? One mincha is kosher, not pasul. So the Gemara, you're right. There's another limo that Reb Shimon learned. It's not. Shaloi b'kli shares psula. Did we put it in at the end, Dave? Who's up there? Oh, Gershon. No, we didn't put it in. Okay. You all know that there's a kli shares full of flour. It's a golden kli, has kedusha the kli. You put it into the kli, it becomes kaddish. Then the kohen sticks his hand in like this, and he folds his fingers, 3 fingers, top, bottom, and whatever remains in this, what does he do with it? What does he do with this?
Put it in his hand.
Right, he puts it on the mizbeach. But before he puts it on the mizbeach, he puts it inside of another kli sharis. He dumps it in a kli sharis. Then that kli sharis, you could maybe go like this to mizbeach also, but you put it in the kli sharis. So this is the Rashi I want to show you. I think it's a super important Rashi. It's geschmack. It gives us more ideas in Zevachim and Kachim. Says Rashi, Shloi b'kli sharis, the Gemara is saying that he forgot to put it in the kli sharis. He didn't put it in the kli sharis, the kmitza part. Shloi kiddush ha-koymetz b'kli sharis. He didn't make the koymetz, the kmitza kaddish with the kli sharis. Psula, it's possible. Shamenach is suk shel Zevachim. Says Rashi, an amazing thing, that a mincha is similar to a carbon. Litoin arba avodas. There's 4 avodas. What are the 4 avodas by a regular carbon? Shchita, Kabbalah, Halacha, Zrika. So too, by a mincha, we have Shchita, Kabbalah, Halacha, Zrika. What's the Shchita by a mincha? The Kmitza. And then you have to do Kabbalah. Well, it's not spraying blood. So you take it and you put it into a Kli. That's the Kabbalah. What's the Halacha? You walk it to the Mizbeach. And what's the Zrika? Putting it on the Mizbeach. That's the Zrika. So now we hear a new thing we just learned now. Lidin Arba is Kmitza Keneged Shchita. Matan Koimitz B'Kli Shares, putting in the Kli Shares Keneged Kabbalah Sadam. It's like Kabbalah. Haylacha Keneged Lacha. You walk to the Mizbeach. Haktara Keneged Zrika. And throwing it on the Mizbeach is like doing Zrika. So Mela, if you don't do Kli Shares, you're missing one of the 4 avodas. One of the 4 essential avodas is doing Kabbalah. You forgot to do Kabbalah. Reb Shimon Machshir. So we're going to learn a new halach here. According to Reb Shimon, it's okay. Why? This pasuk is learning that it's like a chazal. Says Reb Shimon that if you have a choice, you want to hold the kmitza in your hand and go like this to the mizbeach, great. Just make sure you do it with your right hand. Somebody told me a ma'isa. I don't know. It's an interesting story. I can understand. I hear the story from beginning to end. Maybe not the end. The beginning part, mamish, I could relate to. The Nidvarner Rebbe gave Musar to one of his Hasidim, and the Chassid was taken aback by the Musar, and he smacked the Rebbe right in the face. And he ran away. And of course, the Hasidim ran after, they caught him.
Which Rebbe?
I don't know. He's like
1,000 Nidvarner.
Okay. The smart one, the smarter one. Listen to this.
He had more than one chassid.
So they bring the chassid to him, and the chassid is, trembling. And the Rebbe says, I have a big taina on you. A yid, when he does something, what is a yid? B'terechts. Why do you smack him with your left hand? And he broke the ice. They both started laughing. And the guy, 9 months later, was the biggest chassid ever. He was mamish.
I had a story like that myself.
You mean
I went to Pittsburgh Rebbe when I was a bacher.
Yeah.
I went there for Shirayim. He says to me, the rechte hand. I said, what? The rechte hand. I said, what? He was stick at your right hand.
What? He said in
Stick
English?
at your right in English. I don't understand what you're saying. I know Yiddish. I don't understand what you're saying. Finally, he says to me in English, just stick at your right hand. I put my left hand out. No.
They're very makbid. Right. Everything's Ayid geht rechts. Ayid geht rechts. Oh, Biyamin, kechatos. Bekli, now if he decides to do it with the vessel, with the kli shares, oiv the small kasham. Don't get confused there. If anybody got confused, Rashi explains right away. You could do it with your left. You don't have to do it with your left, like a asham. Reb Shimon, as the Gemara Ikra, we just learned from this pasuk that if you don't do the Shema by a mincha, you passels it. Says the Gemara, no. The main pasuk comes to say the halacha that we just said, that if you do it with your hand, make sure you do it with your right hand. If you do it with the kli, you could use the left. This halacha of lishma by a mincha, I'll get another source. If you don't have the right kavana by minchas choyta, tamachminu. It's another pasuk. Chatas time amai dechsiv ba he, minchas choyta nami ksiv ba he. This is what we had yesterday. The word he, who, is what shows us that you have to have lishma. You know what? Minchas choyta has the same word he. According to Rabbanon, what do they do? Why is a asham compared to kechatas kasham? What do they learn from this? Lo melach, machatas tuna smicha, af asham ton smicha. This is one of these halachas, I think, that's like under the table kind of thing. It goes in shtil hate. When they ask you on a test, this is where they get you good. What do you learn from? What do chachamim learn from kechatas kasham? That the smicha, you have to lean your body weight on a asham, just like you do for a chatas. Shmak. Brand new sugya. Yosef ben Chayni oimer hanishchatim. What does Yosef ben Chayni say? That if you take a carbon pesach, that if you take any carbon and shechted lichvoid chatos or a carbon pesach, pasul. Let's see inside the Mishnah. Not only if you take a carbon pesach and say that it's a shlamim, you ruined it forever, you have to destroy it. But even if you take a shlamim on Erev Pesach, and you say this shlamim on Erev Pesach is a carbon pesach, you also ruined it, you have to destroy it. Rabbi Eliezer also says the same thing. Rabbi Omar, no. No, they argue, if you take other karbanas and you have in mind for a chatos, that's where the machlokes is. This anya, haPesach shibur shnasa, you have a carbon pesach that's too old, became an old man. It's already over a year old. You can't use it anymore for carbon pesach. Ushchata bismano l'shmoi, and you take this 2-year-old carbon on Erev Pesach and you say this should be a carbon pesach. If you take a shlamim on Erev Pesach, you say this should be a carbon pesach. Rebbe Lezer poisel. That's Rebbe Lezer says the same halacha that we just read in the Mishnah of Yosef ben Chayni. That what? If you take another, not only if you take a carbon pesach and say that it's a shlamim on Erev Pesach, not only on Erev Pesach, the 6-hour window that we have to shech the carbon pesach. If a guy messes up and he says, this is not a carbon pesach, this is a shlamim, what happens? Take that animal and destroy it. Says Rebbe Eliezer, and so says Yosef ben Chayni in the Mishnah, that if you take shlamim, the reverse. You take a shlamim, say this is a carbon pesach. Not only if you say carbon pesach, this is a shlamim, but even if you say shlamim, this is a carbon pesach, destroy it. Rabbi Shua machshir. Shua says it's kosher. So now we have these back and forth. It's also the same style that we had before. These kavachomers to prove it, and it goes to the bottom of the amud. So if you don't like these kavachomers, you can take a little break now for 4 minutes. Omar Rabbi Yeshua, im b'shar yemois hashana sheina kosher l'shmoi. If you take a carbon pesach and you try to shech the carbon pesach on Rosh Hashanah, what happens? Garnished. Acherim ksherim l'shmoi. But if you take other karbanos and you try to make it a carbon pesach, it's kosher. It becomes that it is shlamim because only on erev pesach is a problem. Bismanoi on erev pesach itself, shu kosher l'shmoi. This is the logic that the Gemara doesn't like. So if you take a carbon pesach and shecht it on erev pesach after chatzos, where it's good for a carbon pesach, and it didn't shichshu acherim l'shmoi. So certainly if you take a shlamim and say that it's a carbon pesach on erev pesach, it should be kosher, says Rabbi Shua. Your logic is mamish off. Because I could take the same logic and use it against you. If I take a carbon pesach on Rosh Hashanah, it's not going to be a carbon pesach. I cannot check the carbon pesach on Rosh Hashanah. But if I take the carbon pesach on Rosh Hashanah, I say it's a shlamim. It's good. Listen what's going to come out according to your logic. I'm using your logic. I'll come out that so certainly on Erev Pesach, where I shech the carbon Pesach, and it is good, and it didn't shiuch l'shem acherim, so certainly I should be able to take the carbon Pesach and make it a shlamim on Erev Pesach. And that everybody knows is not okay. V'yuchshar Pesach, bar ba'asar, on Erev Pesach, you'll take a carbon Pesach and make it a shlamim, shloi l'shmoy, will be okay. You're really going to look at me in the eye and tell me that's the case? I'm just using your logic, and your logic doesn't work. And now the Gemara says the interesting thing here. And another question, he says, it has to go, it's a two-way street. So, if in the entire year, I take other animals, other karbanos, and I take a shlamim and I say it's a carbon pesach, what happens? It's kosher. And therefore, if I take a carbon pesach and I say that it's a shlamim, it's kosher. So throughout the year, on Rosh Hashanah, I could go both directions. I could take a shlamim and make it a pesach, take a pesach and make it a shlamim, they're both kosher. So Mamela is saying on Erev Pesach, it should go both ways also to make it puzzle. If I take a carbon pesach and make it a shlamim, it's puzzle. So Mamela, if I take a shlamim and make it a carbon pesach, it should also be puzzle. The two-way street should work both directions in both situations. Again, if during the year I have a two-way street, if I take a shlamim and make it a pesach, it's okay. And if I take a pesach and make it a shlamim, it's okay. So on Erev Pesach, which we know for a fact that if you take a carbon pesach and make it a shlamim, it's not okay. Logic should dictate that it goes the opposite way also. That if I take a shlamim and make it a carbon pesach, it should also be no good. What you just did is prove to me that shlamim is more severe than a carbon pesach. Why? Because if shlamim becomes puzzle on Erev Pesach, that means it's chomer. Shlamim becoming a carbon pesach becomes puzzle, yet a carbon pesach on Rosh Hashanah is kosher. So you see that shlamim is more severe than a carbon pesach. You hear the svara? It's interesting. And we know that carbon pesach is more severe than everything else. The Torah tells us it's more severe. So that can't be. Okay. That's the hard part for today. So Rebbe Eliezer takes it back and says, okay, let me come from a different angle. If you have leftover carbon pesach, what do? You bring it as a shlamim. Certainly you cannot take, that's the first Mishnah in Zevachim, you can't take another carbon and make it into a carbon pesach. Well, that's his far. Leftover shlamim do not become a carbon pesach. Not the first Mishnah in Zevachim. So now he's starting with the Kavachaymer. By the way, this is going to end very soon. This back and forth kavachaymer thing. Uma pesach shemoisri bashlamim. A Karban Pesach, you could later convert to a shlamim. Shchati b'zman shum shlamim pasul. So, but nevertheless, even though I can convert it later on in the year, I could convert it to a shlamim. But on erev Pesach, if I try converting a Pesach to shlamim, what happens? I have to destroy it. Pasul shlamim shemasar ba Pesach. So Karban shlamim that never becomes, you can never convert a shlamim into a Karban Pesach. Im shchatim shem Pesach b'zmano in addition you psulim. That's his svara that if erev Pesach you try to take a shlamim and make it a Karban Pesach, it should be possible. Daf Yomi Amud Beis. Omer loy Rabbi Shua, I'm going to take your logic and ruin it for you. Why? Because I'm going to take the same logic and say, let's do the same trick with the chatos. I could convert a chatos, leftover chatos, into oila. How do I have a leftover chatos, Rabbi Isai? Only one way. Because if, no, that's chatos shenitzkaper b'aleah. That would not work. No, that's also one of the five. That's one of the five that die. That's one of the five that dies. So the only way to make a chatos convert it into a oila is if I lechatchila buy two chatos and say one is going to be achrayis. How do you say achrayis in English? A backup. Okay, backup is good. We'll use that. In Hebrew, they said gibui. They said what else? Reserve. Reserva.
Pinch hitter.
A pinch hitter. Is a pinch hitter a reserve? That's what it was? No. Okay. No. A little different. I can use a good geschmack drink now. Okay. Some Gedalia. So, chatos, if you have leftover chatos, moisech chatos ba'oila, so what do you do if you brought two, and one as a backup, and you actually ended up using one, what do you do with the second one? The second one, it's not like one got lost and you replaced it completely and you shechted number two and then you found number one. That's not what happened there. You brought two and you said, if I'm not going to use one, if something happens to it, I'm going to use two. Then you take that one and you make it oila. But never do you have leftover oila that converts into a chatos. And therefore I'm going to use your logic and you're going to see that it doesn't work. Chatos that could convert into oila. Shchatas shamayla psula. We know that's the first Mishnah in Zevachim. That if you take a chatos and try to switch it, you must destroy it. Oila shemoisra ba chatos, shemoisra ba chatos. Oila where there is no converting to a chatos, in oila never converts into chatos. Shchatas shem chatos and it didn't shidei psula. So if you take an oila and you shecht it with kavana for a chatos, of course, it should be possible. Now we know that that's not the case. You know why that's not the case? Because chatas is kosher all year round, 365. Pesach, I don't know, 365, but all year round. But a Karban Pesach only has 6 hours a year, and therefore what? Sometimes the Karban Pesach is possible when you do it l'shmai. So therefore it makes more sense that others that are shechted for a Karban Pesach should also be possible. Fine, done. New easy sugya now. Turning to the Daf, Adar Global, specialist in international financial services, anonymous as chus, faslach and ruchnis and gashmis, anonymous in this chus in support of Torah that all tests should come back 100% healthy for me and my family. Imagine this person going through Rosh Hashanah, has some tests going on, and he's waiting for results. Maybe he lives in Eretz Yisrael because results take some time here. It's a different Rosh Hashanah. It's scary. Shabbat should give him a refuah shlema, good news, whatever it is. I hope it's maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a SAT, a driving test. Also in Eretz Yisrael, takes 9 or 10 times.
Healthy.
Driving test.
Yeah, a healthy driving test. Okay, fine. Yeah, it should be healthy. Healthy for me and my family. Well, family also has tests. Okay, whatever. Oh, so for him, if he's healthy, then it's good for his family. Zog the Gemara. Oh, Shimon Achai is Ariel. Now what? I'll remind the Olam. Gishmak. This is a Gishmak Sugi here. Oh, here's the. Remember this list? We have the Kachi Kachim on the right, we have the Kachi Kalam on the left. Kachi Kachim Chadas Hashem Ariel Shalom Tzibur. Kachi Kalam Shalom Toil Nazir B'chor Meiser. Great. So Shimon, Achi Azariah, we said it there in the Mishnah. Why is he called Achi Azariah? Because he was supported by Azariah, so he's always named after his brother, Shimon Achi Azariah. It says like this, that if you take a higher up on the list from the Kachim Kalam list, Shlomim is higher up in the list, so it's Chomer, more Chomer than the one on the bottom, the Meiser. So if you go that route, they'll make it possible. But if you go the opposite route, if you go from Meiser, you take the Meiser and you say, I want to go Shlomim, and Shlomim is more Choshev, then it's kosher. And not only that, he says, and if you go from the list on the left, Kachim Kalam, let's say you take a Toida and say it should be an Oila, that's great. You're increasing the Kedushin, and that's good. But if you go the opposite route, you say an Oila should be a Toida, no good. We actually have a shtickle video here. This one, should explain the whole sugi in 1 second. Karbonis elevator. I don't know where these guys come up with these ideas. Shlomim, you go up. You go up to get a shlomim. It's red. No good. It's going down to the B'char and the Meiser. Okay. You have the sugya? Okay. You cannot go from the top floor, from Shlomim, down to the B'char and the Meiser on the bottom floor. There will be, that's the Meiser of me in Norfolk, Virginia. Mamish this. My favorite Meiser. I said it 10 times for the new guys. For the new guys. As soon as I start saying it, you say, oh yeah. When I brought my brother, when I brought my son, my B'char, Aram, to Norfolk, Virginia, the Jordan Sloan's yeshiva over there, and they asked all the parents to leave because they wanted to give a first shear for the new guys. So I went to Walmart or whatever to buy him a bike because the dorm and the yeshiva are very far away from each other. Everybody had a bike, you had to go. Bought him a bike, come back with the bike, I come to the yeshiva and front door is locked. What do? I don't know if they had cell phones then, it was not a thing. I'm sure there were cell phones, but not him. So I'm knocking, nothing. I'm sitting outside. So let me check the back. Go to the back door. Avi, you look at me like you never heard the story. You don't remember the story? A million times. Kids I have to make sure I don't mess up the story. I say it exactly the way I always do. Go to the back of the, I'm saying it kids, I go to the back of the building, the door locked. So there's like a fire escape. So I start climbing the fire escape. Locked. Get to the 3rd floor. There's a little bit of hope. The door is slightly, it's not opening completely, but a little bit. I figure if I give it a big push, I could get in. So I back up, and with my back, I give it a zetz. And in fact, it opened up, but I come tumbling in like this, and in slow motion, and these alarms, these lights, like you see, and a very loud for the lights are for the deaf. The sounds are for people that are not deaf, become deaf just from the sounds. And as I gather myself and I turn around, it's my son's new class, Shir, and the Maggid Shir, and the whole class is looking at me, and my son is horrified. This face of, I can't believe you just did this in front of my new yeshiva, in front of all my new friends. I'm like, hi, I'm Eli Stefansky. See you guys later. And I walk out, the busha v'charpa. Okay. And ever since then, our relationship has not been the same. Says, nachas. I have a lot of nachas from these days. Says the Gemara. So Rav Ashi masne mishmei the Rabbi Yochanan. Rav the Rav masne mishmei the Rabbi Yanai. My time with the Shimon Achi Azariah. Where did he get this from? They could go up a little bit in Kedusha and it's okay. You go down in Kedusha, you get the alarm. Did I ever say this Ma'aseh Beni in the Hebrew Shir? I didn't. You gotta remind me, say it one day. So it says in the pasuk, Asher Yirimu Lashem. Now Yirimu typically means to separate truma, but we're going to use it like in Hebrew, laharim, to go upwards. If you go from down to above, then it's a good carbon. So if the guy looks at a meiser and he says it's a shlamim, then it's a good carbon. But if you go downwards, it ruins it. Ask the Gemara, so this pasuk is needed for something completely different. Shmuel's halacha, how do you know if somebody eats food that you didn't take trumas and meisers to get the death penalty min hashamayim, a heavenly death penalty? Shenemar, it's very chomer. Asher Yirimu means in the future, but right now there was no truma meiser taken. It's in the future. Okay, so I need the whole pasuk for truma that tevel is mamish aser. From the different way of writing it, I can learn the two halachas. I learn that if you eat tevel, you eat food that you didn't take truma samaisis from, you get the misa v'dei shamai. I also learn that I could go upwards in a carbon and it's okay. Boy Reb Zera. Now let me show you this. It's super simple, but if you look in the Gemara, it could be slightly complicated. It's really simple. What do Chacham say in the Mishnah? If we do this Balpel, it'll be easier. Chacham say in the Mishnah that if I mess up on a carbon, the kohen that's shechting the carbon, he thinks himself, instead of thinking that it's a chatos, he thinks that it's a shlamim. Forget the chatos. No, that's not a good example. Instead of a oila, he says it's a shlamim. Chachamim, the Tanakam in the Mishnah, the first halacha in Zevachim. What's the halacha? Kosher, but what? Huh? Le'ol le'bailim. Very good. I have to bring another one. What is that called? Kosher and not miratza. Does it matter if, according to Chacham, does it matter that I went upwards, I went from a meiser to a shlamim? No. Even in a case of going from meiser to shlamim, they say it's no good. It's kosher, but loy miratza. And if I go from a shlamim downwards to a meiser, same exact halacha. Kosher, loy miratza. They're consistent. That will never change. Chacham is chacham. All karbanos, besides a chatas and a pesach. If I think a different machshava, I don't care what direction, from kachim to kachim kalim, from kachim kalim from the top of the list to the bottom of the list, it's kosher, loy miratza. I have to bring another carbon. Now let's think. What does Shimon ben Achiazariah say? Now we're going to understand him in a slightly different way, at least for me. What does he say? He says that if you go upwards, it's kosher. If you go downwards, it's possible. So he's for sure arguing Chachamim on the downwards. Because Chachamim say if you go downwards, it's still kosher, but loy miratza. He says you go downwards, it's possible. The question is, how many arguments does he have? One or two? The way we see right now, how many arguments are there? Only one. Because he says if you go upwards, it's kosher and loy miratza. Chacham will say kosher, loy miratza. So there's no argument over there. The only argument is, if I go from shlamim down, let's say to meiser, according to Shimon Achiazariah, it would be possible. According to Chachamim, kosher, loy miratza. That's one way of looking at it. But maybe Shimon Achiazariah said, not that it's kosher, loy miratza, it's kosher and miratza. And what do Chachamim say? Kosher and not miratza. They don't come out two machlokes. Check it out. If you go upwards, he says, not only is it kosher, but I don't have to bring another carbon. That's in disagreement to Chachamim, because Chachamim say you have to bring another carbon. That's argument number one. If I go upwards, it's kosher and miratza. Chachamim say loy miratza. Argument number one. Argument number two would be, if I go down. Down is the same thing as we said before. Down, according to Shimon Achiazariah, it's possible, and according to Chachamim, it's kosher, loy miratza. Chacham on the right side, nothing ever changes with them. The question is, what did Shimon Achiazariah say? Did he say loy miratza or miratza? And that would be enough kamina if he argues on one thing or two things. Yes, Avi? We're good?
Yeah, I think this notice they're going to have hours. Shlomo only this hour. Ola only this hour. So you don't get confused.
I don't know if that works. So think about it. You just came from Tzfat. It took you 3.5 days to get here with your donkey. You had tremendous Yisurim. You finally get to the Beis HaMikdash and tell you, well, it's not 4 o'clock. Gotta wait. That's like in the Misrad Pnim. We're closed today. Just wait around. You know what? Fabrengir. I need to get home. No, you come in, Shalom Aleichem, we shech. They shech. You just go in and out. It's not making hours.
Bring Olos, bring Shalom, you have to make 2 trips.
Yeah. What if you bring 2? What if you have a Chadas and Ariel? So you have to sit there all day long. And listen,
you go to the full day spa, that's it.
It's not like it happens. Just like with the Hiriest. Who says it ever happens? What if it happens? You should know it's possible.
How could there be Ritzui if it's the wrong carbon?
What?
How could there be Ritzui? According to Achi Azariah, what does it mean Maratza? This violent to bring a
no, it works.
You brought an Asham, so now he's bringing an Oila? What's the Ritzui? You have to bring an Asham.
So let's see. We're going to discuss a little bit about what you're saying. That might be a little bit of what the Raya is in the Gemara. Omar Abayi v'Temer Zrika. Oh, sorry. No. I'm away. Oh, Bayer's there. Ksherim ve'meratzim. Does Shimon Achi Azari say that you have to bring another carbon? Then he's only arguing one thing on the when it goes downwards that it's possible, and they say it's kosher. Or perhaps he said the machlokes is in 2 things. He says kosher and it's a perfect carbon. Or and he argues in 2 things. What's a b'char? Your first board. Is it coming to forgive anything? No. What's meiser? It's all your babies over there. You take 1 out of 10 and you eat it. It's not coming for kapara for anything. And you take that. Sheshachtem l'shem shlamim. Sheshachtem l'shem shlamim. Ksherim. It's kosher. Shlamim sheshachtem l'shem b'char. L'shem meiser b'sulim. But if you go downwards from top to bottom, it's basel. If he meant that it's kosher, meaning it's meratza, b'char b'aritzuyu. A b'char doesn't come for a kapara. That's basically what Ariel is asking. So, elok sherim ve'meratzim. So you must say that when it comes to b'char and meiser, there's no ritzui. When the sevik sherim ve'meratzim, reishanami sherim ve'meratzim. So all cases, what he means by Reish and Sefer, this is the Reisha. When I go from the right column to the left column, that's the Reisha, and this would be the Sefer, Shlam to Meiser. Because in all cases, there's no ritzui. Why? Because if in this case Shlamim and Meiser, there's no kapara because Meiser doesn't come to give a kapara. So too, when Taida Taila, or I should say Asham and whatever, so all these cases are not for kapara. Says Gemara, Midiiria, classic Gemara line. Who said, this Sefer there's no kapara in the Reisha, there's a kapara. So why does it talk about a b'char and a shlamim? What do I gain from that? From this thing right over here? No, this one. What do I gain from this case right over here? If there's no kapara and there's no machlokes, no, that there's. I'm telling you that even on the left column there's a higher up. There's hierarchy. There's a chashuv and there's less chashuv. Tanina, case of kachi kachim shavnu shem kachim kalam here. I could learn that from this case right over here. If I go from kachim kalam to kachim, so there's higher and there's lower. No, ma'od the same kachim kalam who they could gavaya v'namuch. From the right column to the left column, one is kachim, one is kachim kalam. That's pasha. Aval kalam v'kalam loy. I think that to do one of these, to take from the left column a shlamim and flip it into a meiser, it doesn't. They're all the same. They're all kachim kalam. That's the chiddush. Says Gemara, Hanami Tanina. That I also know from a different place. It says shlamim kodim misab b'char. What if you come to the Beis Hamikdash? You're holding a shlamim and he's holding a b'char. The kohen looks at both of you. What do you got? I got a shlamim. What do you have? A b'char. What does he shecht first? He shecht shlamim first. So you see that shlamim is higher up, even though they're on the same list of kachim kalim, but shlamim is more chashuv than a b'char. And explains why. It's not some chashuv, because the different type of zrikas adam, you have to do all 4 walls. Usmicha, you have to lean on it. Unesachim, you have to bring wine with it. Utnuvas chazav shayking, you have to wave the breast and the thigh. This is more big chiddush. I thought for me at least. Ha'ikir. The chiddush by us in our Mishnah that there's a what's the lashon that it goes in hierarchy, but there's a better priority. Oh, priority maybe. There's a priority of the list. There's the top, there's the bottom. Oh, there's gold. You see, I see the gold guys. Like in when you fly, you have a priority, status. Shlamim comes first. They get in first. So no, so by us, that's where we learn this halacha. Ahi agrara nazba. That one, the over there where it says shlamim kaidim, that's agav. You learn that halacha. Should we do the Mishnah? Let's do the Mishnah. Habeza sheshachta shachris bar ba'asar. Bar ba'asar shaloi l'shmoi. Oh, so let's think about this for a second. We know if you shech the carbon pesach in the 6-hour window, in other words, from chatzos until the night, and you think to yourself it's not a carbon pesach, it's carbon taida, destroy it. If you shech the carbon pesach after pesach, then it's a shlamim. Before pesach, shlamim. What if you shech the carbon pesach in the morning before the chatzos time? Erev pesach, when you're supposed to shech it in the afternoon, you did it in the morning. Does it ruin the carbon or doesn't ruin the carbon? It's not time yet. It's not that. What do I do? Nonchalantly, Greenman is taking videos of me. Kilo like I don't see.
You ruined the short. You're live in Denver.
Was he brother? Don't tell me he's over there. Oh, he is? Wow. You down Vesikin with me, no? Tzaddik. I'm saying tzaddik because he was taking this old man that came in and he took care of him, put in the towels, the whole thing. So he's doing, he shechted before the time of Pesach, he shechted it in mind that it should be a shlamim. What's the difference? In the morning is the same thing as doing it on the 13th and the 12th of Nisan. It's before the time. The Gemara is going to start off saying that maybe Ben Seir holds that the whole day is kosher to shecht a carbon pesach, even in the morning. That's why he says that it's possible. But Akavanim, he says it's possible. Interesting lashon. I got a tradition from 72 Zkenim. It doesn't say Zkenim, it says Zakin. The Gemara is going to discuss why it says Zakin. In other words, all 72 said the same exact thing. The famous story that they got rid of Rabbi Gamliel, who's the Nasi, and they put Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah in there. Yeah, the famous story. Basically, this is coming to argue on what we learned in the first Mishnah of Zevachim. What do we learn in the first Mishnah of Zevachim? That there's two korbanos that if you mess up, you have to destroy. The carbon pesach and the chatos. And now he adds another one. One more.
This is Shimon's nephew? Shimon Achai Azariah?
Yes, I think so, because that's what he said over there. Azariah, he was zoichet to have Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. No, this is...
Shimon is Achai Azariah.
Yeah.
It's an uncle.
So he's his uncle.
Yeah. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. That's Azariah was zoichet to have Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah because of the schus of supporting Torah. All animals that are edible, he says, that you had the wrong intent for the Shema, it's kosher. But you have to bring another one. They're kosher, you continue bringing them, but the owner has to bring another one. So what did he just add? We already know Pesach and Chatas, he added another one. One more, third one. Oila is not edible, and Memela, if you mess up on the Lishma, you got to destroy it also on the Oila. Chacham didn't agree to him. Rabbi say, have a meaningful fast, have a wonderful day. Yishkoyach for coming.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.